Giants 16, Salford Red Devils 8. Oh, yes, the Cowbell Army, and as Mr. Robinson absolutely knows, Jesus loves him more than he will know. When heaven holds a place for those who pray, Mr. Robinson, you've been praying big time, haven't you? What a great win this is for the Cowbell Army. It was a grinding win, lots of errors on both sides of the field. I mean, Salford leading at half-time by 6 points to 2. I thought they were very fortunate to do so. Nice try, though, has to be said from Joe Mellor. Really took that well. But it was the indiscipline of Salford Red Devils in terms of penalty counts and errors at key moments of the game that really cost them. They just allowed Huddersfield to keep kicking, 2-point conversions, to keep themselves in the game. Ollie Partington wanted his time back again. Shane Wright as well. Some really odd moments in the game. Not really what you expect from seasoned pros such as those two. They really did allow Huddersfield the opportunity to remain in this game, and they took it with both hands, didn't they? Some wonderful moments in the game. I have to say, it all came down to that 50-minute period, didn't it? Right on the 50-minute mark. Penalty opportunity there for the Salford Red Devils. I think the kicking tee's on its way on, and Nene McDonald eyes up Rugby for, and I can pinch one here. Off he goes. Couple of plays later, and Sam Halsall intercepts, and he's off like a freight train. Go back, look at the highlights. Dion Cross. I've given Dion Cross lots of praise this season. I put him in quite a few team of the weeks, but for whatever reason, he decided to get some coal out the engine. That's right. He allowed his engine to simmer. He thought, you know what, I'm going to leave this to Ryan Briley. I thought if Dion Cross had carried on pumping those legs, it might have been he that would have stopped Sam Halsall getting that 4-pointer. What are your thoughts, Salford fans? Go back and watch the VT. There's one from the 80s. Anyway, outstanding stuff from Halsall. Really good interception. Down the field he goes. It turns the game at that point. And then it's just all about, like I say, the indiscipline of Salford Red Devils, and a very well taken try right at the death to secure a 16-8 win by Adam Milner at hooker, who equally, I thought, had a very good game. A game where the two hookers were both on the score sheet. Jake Connor, very good with the boot, 4 from 5 from him. He'll be pleased with that. But, are we now starting to see, maybe, I don't know, your thoughts, they're still in the top 6. Are we starting to see, fragility in Salford Red Devils? I don't know. They've clearly missed Nene McDonald in the 5 for the 2 games prior to this. McDonald back, did lots of running as always. Another 154 metres from Nene McDonald in this game. He really is a handful in those attacking phases. But, I saw a bit of discontentment, a little bit of, upset in the team. Mark Sneed, very critical at times, clearly very frustrated with his teammates. We haven't seen that much this season. What we have seen Sneedy do is galvanise his team in key games like Wigan and St Helens. We didn't see that in this one. They seem to be a little bit of infighting. Not that I'm saying there's a crisis at Salford, not at all. But for whatever reason, they just wasn't connected in this one. Their execution wasn't right. Some of the decision-making wasn't right. And like I say, at key moments of the game, errors and penalties really did cost them. But let's take nothing away, absolutely nothing away from Huddersfield Giants. They stayed in the grind. If you're going to keep a team to less than 10 points, especially on your home ground, really, you should be winning it. And that's exactly what Huddersfield did. They remained in the grind. And a massive well done has to go, for me personally, to Harry Rushton. Slotted in at loose forward. Luke Yates, of course, off to the Warrington Wolves. Big shoes to fill, especially in a defensive capacity. And what do you know? Harry gets there with 41 tackles on the night. A brilliant effort from him. I think only Shorrocks for Salford did one more. It was a great display, this, from Harry Rushton. Yes, there was an error here. There was a key error in the game for Mr. Rushton, but we'll overlook that. Because overall, I thought his game was very good indeed. They just looked more as a unit. Robinson has done an incredible job, hasn't he, in such a short time with the same roster. Well, actually, it's not the same roster. A lot of players have moved on. And of course, there's some key injuries as well. Greenwood's not there. We've got no Ollie Wilson at the moment at Huddersfield Giants. So, like I say, even with a roster that's a bit depleted in key areas, especially in those middle unit areas, I think what Luke Robinson's doing at the moment, you can only say very well done to him. A fantastic win this for the Cowbell Army. I mean, some people will say, can they go on? Can they get into the playoffs? It's a step too far. They're never going to get to the playoffs, even though they're very close in touching distance. Can I see Huddersfield Giants pretty much being undefeated between now and the end of the season? I mean, really, you're talking mega, and an absolute mega points that they need in order to get into those top 6 positions by the end of the season. They've got some really tough games as well coming up in terms of those top 6 teams. So I don't think Huddersfield have got it in them to get into the top 6, but I think what they can do between now and the end of the season is get a better connection with the fans, give them something to dream for in 2025, because I think that has evaporated under the Watson era, especially this season. The connection between the Cowbell Army fans and the club. I think what we're seeing now is more like Huddersfield Giants display, playing with heart, playing with desire, and getting the odd win here and there. They'll get more wins between now and the end of the season. And Luke Robinson, will he be given the job full time next year? Well, if he carries on picking off teams like he's currently doing and getting some W's on the board, I'll tell you what, he certainly will be a part of the equation. There's no doubt. What we know about Ken Davey is he likes those players like the likes of Crabtree, who's got roles at the stadium, of course. He likes the old guard. He's very loyal, is Ken Davey. And if he believes that Robinson can continue to get the best out of the Cowbell Army team, well, let me tell you now, he's in the box seat, as far as I'm concerned, to maybe stay there. As for Paul Rowley, well, do you know what? I'm sure he'll defend his team. He'll probably defend Danny McDonald, and rightly so. Then he thought, you know what, I've got an opportunity here. I'm going to take it. I think he'll rue missed opportunities. I think he'll rue in discipline and also key penalties and errors at key times in good field position. That's what really cost him for whatever reason at the moment. Salford not quite as fluent as they have been at other times of the season. I think, they need the likes of Bullock to settle. I think that's been a good acquisition this week for the Salford Red Devils. I think Joe Bullock is a fine player. He will add a bit of punching power and bite into their team. I've got no question about that in my mind. Singleton's in discipline, going for 10. People will talk about was it a yellow, wasn't it a yellow? It was certainly late. There's no doubt about that. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see what happens with the disciplinary panel with regards to that. But like I say, Salford still in the top 6, but I do think it's, this is squeaky bum time, isn't it? It's squeaky bum time if you're a Salford Red Devil fans. Will it happen again in 24 as it happened in 23? Will they slide out of those top 6 positions in the latter end of the season? We'll have to wait and see. But if you're a Cowbell Army fan, well, I'll tell you now, this was a far better performance from your team. It's a performance we've been waiting for. I think they're playing some better rugby league. They're sitting there on 14 points. Yes, but like I say, you're probably talking they're going to have to win 7 of the last 9. I just don't see it happening, folks. I really, really don't. But you know what? Between now and the end of the season, I think they'll put a decent points tally on the board for you Huddersfield Giants fans. Look, well done. Congratulations, especially to Mr. Robinson. A brilliant win, this one. 16 points to 8 against Salford Red Devils, who've been flying in 2024. We'll be back with more in the sheds later in the day.